Hello everyone, welcome back to Fight Tonight channel. Friends, before starting to watch this video, I would like to ask you to subscribe to my channel. I really want to get 3000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. Thanks for supporting me, guys. Gervonta Davis has no doubt who wins Spence-Crawford fight. I know for sure. Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford are set to finally face off to determine the best welterweight and fighter full stop in many eyes on the planet. The two champions, Spence the WBA, IBF and WBC, Crawford the WBO, have been on a long and frustrating collision course that some fans felt would never end up in a fight. That all changed when the pair bypassed the businessman and hoped on a private phone call. The fight was signed not long after for July 29th in Las Vegas. It adds to a stellar year of boxing, which has already seen one of the most financially successful bouts of recent times in Gervonta Davis vs Ryan Garcia. In a resurfaced clip, Tank sides with Spence in no uncertain terms and said in a roundabout way that he has a better defense than Crawford. He also seems convinced that it could end in a stoppage for the 33-year-old. Errol, I know for sure. Impinge win a gunfight, right? And I got a mental shield and the opposite person got a glass shield. Who's gonna come out on top? It doesn't matter how much he run around. Once them hands get on him, it's gonna slow him down and know if he gonna touch him. The pair clearly back each other, with Spence having revealed early in the year that he put down 20,000 on Tank to beat Garcia. In contrast to Davis' pick, Spence will step through the ropes as a very sly underdog to Crawford, but few boxing fans on the planet can be convinced that it will be one-sided fight. Having completed their early media obligations, the two 147-pound champions are now deep in training camp for the fight of their lives. Devin Haney addresses all sparring sessions with Shakur Stevenson. There is one universal policy in the world of boxing: whatever happens behind closed doors during sparring stays behind closed doors. Shakur Stevenson, however, cracked the curtains ever so slightly recently, following his 6-round stoppage victory over Shakur. Stevenson essentially found himself in the driver's seat. Ultimately, despite expressing his desire to face the winner Gervonta Davis-Garcia fight, Stevenson appears to be steadily focused on Devin Haney, the lightweight division's undisputed champion. And I'm used by Stevenson's words. Haney stoically explained that Stevenson was not entirely telling the truth. The sparring was back and forth, said Haney during a recent interview with DAZN. There were times where he got the best of me, there were times when I got the best of him. All sparring stories, especially those that took place several years ago, aren't exactly pertinent in the eyes of Haney. Admittedly, the 24-year-old has come out on the losing end during numerous sparring sessions against countless jaw blows. And while he attempted to downplay Stevenson initially, Haney acknowledged that he was not Mendoza's. Still, even with Haney disclosing that Stevenson was the better man during their recent foray in the ring against one another, he isn't letting those shortcomings affect his confidence. As he strolls through his palatial estate and glances at his well-stocked trophy case, he isn't sweating what took place between them several years ago. Our latest sparring sessions was when I was 16 years old and he was getting ready for the Olympics. If we counting those then, it is what it is. What you did when you were kids don't got nothing to do with now. There were a lot of guys that got the best of me when we were kids, and look where they are now. They aren't even boxing. Right now we are in the same weight class and I'm the king of the division. It don't matter what we did when we were kids. Gervonta Davis' trainer has no doubt who's better between Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson. In a recent interview with Showtime Sports, Davis' trainer Calvin Ford revealed that undisputed champion Devin Haney was the best fighter in the division. Apart from his charge of course, at 135 pounds right now it's Devin Haney, Ford said. It remains unclear how long Devin Haney will remain at lightweight, with the dream having made no secret of the fact that the weight cut is not a particularly easy one. Super lightweight is fast becoming just as eye-catching division, with some big fight for Haney should he move up, with matchups against the likes of Ryan Garcia, Regis Prograis, and recently crowned world champion Teofimo Lopez, in particular catching the eye. If Haney was to vacate his titles, Davis and Stevenson would be no doubt be amongst the first to pounce on the freshly available belts, potentially paving the way for a month-veteran unification over the next 18 months. As often seems to be the case with the very best fighters in the sport. However, there are a host of promotional and broadcast barriers that would have to be overcome if the two young virtuosos were ever to lock arms in the ring. At the heart, Ryan Garcia vs Regis Prograis, we can work strength into that fight next. Fucking Oscar de la Hoya. Just as Ryan Garcia and the promoter Golden Boy were embroiled in illegal beef, and 140-pound WBC champion Regis Prograis was in the midst of a lackluster title defense, Matchroom Boxing head Eddie Hearn fantasized about a fight between the two boxers. You've got Ryan Garcia if he wants to fight for the world title. We can work strength into that fight next, Hearn told. Fucking Oscar de la Hoya. The reality is Oscar probably thinks I'm talking to Ryan Garcia. I've never had one conversation with Ryan Garcia. Never spoke to Garcia manager and advisor Luke Valencia. I would not have those conversations while he was on the contract. Someone asked my opinion about De La Hoya publicly having spots with Garcia on social media, which I thought was bizarre. Oscar can do his own thing, it doesn't really bother me. The reality is, Golden Boy will only take fights they believe Garcia win. They don't think they can beat Regis Prograis because if they did, they would be in touch and we would make that fight next. We are both on the same platform, doesn't, so it's easy. They've never mentioned it Regis Prograis. Why? Because they think it's a tough fight, and that's what happens in boxing. They like the Rolly Romero fight. Why? Because they think they can beat Rolly Romero, but they don't think they can beat Regis Prograis. And if they do, please call me and we'll make that fight next. There are loads of fights for Regis Prograis out there. Prograis settled for a split decision win against the Leto Zorrilla during a homecoming bout in New Orleans, in which the pairs of pugilists landed a total of 84 punches combined, the fewest title fight ever tracked in Campbell's 38-year history. Prograis also dropped Zorrilla in the fight. I definitely felt like I won it. I didn't see how they scored it for him, but I mean, whatever. I don't think it was close, but I know my performance definitely wasn't good, Prograis said after the fight. Sometimes you overlook things. I have so many opportunities for such crazy money. Sometimes you look past these opponents. Maybe I did do. I guess I was looking past Zorrilla. Whether the 34-year-old Prograis was looking past Zorrilla with his eyes set on a menu of high-profile matchups is a moot point after the major performance. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel.